Hello, let's do Wordle for Wednesday, December 31st. Happy New Year's Eve. Let's play. And yesterday we spun the wheel and it told us to start with paste, and we're hoping it's not the ace trap today. Not the ace trap today. All right, we have an S and an E. Ooh, what do I want to do with that? It could be an ER word. We could be like an S, not SER, but we could be S something something ER. With the S, I'm not super worried about ER, so we could just test directly for it. What is a good word that does this? I guess the real question is, what are the common letters that I need? R, L, N. And then we need to use E and S somewhere. So I'd love to get something like loser or liner. Well, not liner because that doesn't have the S, but problem is S isn't in the middle, so that'd be a filler. Let's not do that. What actually would go S something, S-E-R? S at the beginning and then ER. I'm actually starting to think to do like an S-L-E word. SN maybe? SNE? Problem is the placement of the E. I really want the E at the end if I do something like that. I mean, there's sneer. I actually kind of like sneer a lot. We know there's an E, so testing double E is not a bad idea. And S, and then the N and the R are very common letters. So I'm gonna go with sneer. Ooh, okay. So we learned that there's exactly one E because this E is gray. So we start with S, we end in E. It's not an ER word. I don't think there's any SR words. So the R is forced here, and then the N is forced at the end. It looks like it's siren. All right. Nice. Siren in 3. If I'd thought of siren, it would have been a very good follow-up guess. I would not have minded siren at all, but I don't think sneer was bad. But I do wonder if siren was actually the optimal follow-up. Well, we're about to find out, but first we are going to spin our wheel and see what we're starting with tomorrow. It's amazing how many of you follow along. I love seeing all the results where you started with the same thing as me. Will tomorrow be pizza? Well, we're going to guess it and find out. And we're going to find out some very interesting things about the letter Z, but you'll have to wait till my video tomorrow to learn what we're learning about Z. All right. It's a secret. No one will guess it. All right. So if you have the bravery to start the new year with pizza, then follow along with me. All right. I certainly will. Cool. Well, let's do our analysis and see how we did today. So hard mode, the answer was siren, and we started with paste. Okay, it suggests sheer, actually. Is sneer in the list? Sneer is at the bottom at 10. So actually, its top word is a double E. Does it suggest siren at all? Siren's 9th. All right, so siren was slightly better, but these were all even better according to it. Although siren was the best guess because it was the answer. So I did sneer, and then from there it was only siren. Otherwise, siren with a Y. I mean, the logic that I did was pretty solid. The R and the N were forced, so we had to put some kind of vowel second. So it was going to be an I or a Y. But I don't know what siren with a Y is. Maybe it's just an alternate spelling. All right, it would have gone sheer, and that's not quite as good because you could end up doing screw and then siren. So take that. Sneer was better. It's interesting that it preferred the H over the N in this case. I guess there's probably a lot of SH words. All right. So what's next? Yeah, tails, what it does. It does tails. It's going to go sewer. So yeah, that checking double E is actually a very common thing for it to do when we know there's already an E. Shred or siren, so it gets it in 3 or 4. Steal. It does not double up the E in this case. It's going to go snipe. From snipe, it could go sinew and then siren. So it's got it getting a 3 or a 4 as well. That seems to be a common theme here. Adieu, the most common starting word. We have the I and the E placed. The I is not placed, the E is. We're going to go fillet. Okay. Then from fillet, we're going to go ripen. And then now it's only siren. Okay, so siren in 4. Audio. Audio, when it has that I, it goes pissed. And from pissed, wow, there's a bunch of words ending in S that it won't be because we don't do that. And it's again this sinew siren 50-50, so 3 or 4. Stare, very common starting word. We get the R and the E. We're worried about an ER word, but not too bad because we do start with S. So we're just going straight to sewer. And then from sewer, we could do shred siren. So it's a 3 or a 4. And trace tries to get in 2. I doubt it does today. Nope. We're gonna go. It's worried about ER words. We're gonna go rens, and then from there we can go straight to siren if we get lucky. So we say with it we do. So it gets a 3. And then just trace gets lucky all the time because that's the whole point of trace. Try to get lucky and get it into. Finally, place is what the official bot starts with. This bot suggests with the E, it suggests deist. I'm pretty sure the official bot does something different than deist. I don't remember what it does though. And then we're going to do risen and then siren. So it gets a 4 pretty solidly. We'll see what the official bot does. And let's see how people did today. 94 skill, 78 luck. 3 steps. So how many started with paste? 757 other readers. So paste is like a common starting word. I'm surprised in hard mode that anyone would start with paste. I guess if you start with paste, you probably have memorized the ace trap words that have already happened, so you're not so concerned. Sheer is the most common follow-up. I did sneer, which is on the list at least, but some people got siren in 2. People are doing sheer, fresh, serum, shelf, sleek, sober, flesh, shell. Interesting, doubling the L when you don't know there's an L. Not the best option, in my opinion, but picking sheer over sneer, I do wonder why so many people like that better. I mean, I guess texting for SH isn't a bad idea. All right, and then I got siren, only one solution left. It does place deter and then siren. It gets it in 3. All right, we've got 0.3% starting with siren. So it seems like there is about 0.1% who normally start with siren. And then we've got 0.3% starting with paste. Popular starting word. I don't know why. All right. And we have a greater than 99% solve rate. People are losing on sires. Oof, sired. I feel like if you're playing hard mode, you should know that you can't end in S or D like that. E-S-E-D. Risen, siren with the Y. Yikes. The alternate spelling. Losing on that. All right. These could, again, be people trying to lose. You never know. All right. Let's go back and grab a screenshot, and we will check the normal mode people, how they did. I mean, it's got such common letters. I opened Notepad instead of MS Paint. Notepad can't do images. Did you know that? All right. Siren. All right. Back to the bot. Upload my image I just saved. Similar score here. 3,459. Again, sheer the most common follow-up. Sneer is at the bottom again. No one did siren, interestingly. It's not in this list. It does slate hired siren, so it does a filler, an interesting filler that still uses the E, but avoids the S. All right. 0.2 starting with paste, 0.4 starting with siren. So again, a 0.1% starting with siren in normal cases, because 0.3 is our baseline cheating. 99.2% solve rate. So again, the normal mode having a lower solve rate than hard mode, and a lot of people are losing on sires. All right, well, that is it for Wordle. How'd you do? And if you would like to watch the New York Times games, you can click at the end of the video. It'll take you right there. I also have a pinned comment with all the games I played today. If you enjoyed this, why don't leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.